But let's talk about that political standoff that's happening right now in Texas. You are looking live at a Democratic National Committee press conference near Chicago. Dozens of Texas state lawmakers, they're there. They left the state of Texas as part of an attempt to block a Republican plan to redraw the congressional map. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has ordered their arrest.
Members, a quorum is not present. To those who are absent, return now. Show the courage to face the issues you were elected to solve. Come back and fulfill your duty, because this House will not sit quietly while you obstruct the work of the people. The people of Texas are watching, and so is the nation. And if you choose to continue down this road, you should know there will be consequences.
Now, those Texas Democrats who left the state say Republicans are to blame for holding up the special session and preventing aid for victims of last month's deadly flooding. Texas Democrats in Congress agree and say it's all to appease President Donald Trump and earn him votes through racist gerrymandered maps. Now, President Trump, he was the one who pushed for the proposal, which could give the GOP 5 more seats in the House during next year's very crucial midterm elections. Here's what he had to say about that on CNBC just this morning.
You notice they go to Illinois for safety, but that's all gerrymandered. California's gerrymandered. We should have many more seats in Congress in California. It's all gerrymandered. And we have an opportunity in Texas to pick up 5 seats. We have a really good governor, and we have good people in Texas. And I won Texas. I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, as you probably know. And we are entitled to 5 more seats.
And here is just a bit of what we just heard from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker at that DNC press conference. Again, this was just moments ago.
Decided that the only way to save themselves is to cheat, to change the rules in the middle of the game. And what do MAGA Republicans in Texas do when Donald Trump ignores, well, his oath of office and theirs, and when they're taking it upon themselves to thwart the will of the American people? Well, they say, when Donald Trump calls, they say, yes, sir. Right away, sir. Happy to lick your boot, sir.
We have team coverage of the Texas redistricting showdown, and standing by for us right now is CBS News Texas reporter Trevor Sochocki in Texas. And we also have CBS News political director Finn Gomez in Washington. And Finn, we are going to start with you today. The Democrats, they are clearly making this a national focus. What is your take on that strategy?
Yeah, if you remember, Mugo, just a few months ago, there was this sense from polling that we saw that the Democratic base was basically upset at their party leaders because they were not fighting enough to counter Trump. I think this plays into that need and that request by their base voters. But also, I spoke to some Democrats who say that this redistricting fight is part of a much bigger pattern. Republican-led states or potentially potential states withdrawing maps to entrench power ahead of the midterms and beyond. Frankly, especially in places with rapidly drawing demographics like Texas, where there's been an increase in population of both Black and Latino voters. Texas Democrats are trying to spotlight what they call a partisan power grab aimed at disenfranchising voters and rigging future elections, but not just to rally their base in the Lone Star State, but to mobilize voters nationally and fundraise nationally also. They're also playing into like a broader strategy focusing on voting rights, representation, and the balance of power in Congress ahead of next year's elections, as you mentioned. We are also seeing that domino effect that we talked about, the Texas fight spreading into other states held by Democrats and Republicans. In California, Governor Newsom of that state saying yesterday that he will, quote, fight fire with fire, and said they are looking to redrawing their own maps to counter the Texas Republicans. And CBS has learned that California Democrats have said that drafts of these maps are, quote, almost done. Mugo.
All right, Finn, thank you. Now let's bring in CBS News Texas reporter Trevor Sochocki. Trevor, thank you for joining us again today on 24/7. What's been the reaction in Texas as this showdown plays out on the national stage?
I mean, like I told you before, Mugo, this showdown really has reverberated throughout the entire state because Texans have seen this before. Texas Democrats have left the state before. They have tried to bring a lot of attention to these issues when they leave the state. They've done it decades ago. They've done it years ago. So they keep trying to bring this attention to this. And just like the press conference that we were just watching earlier, they continue to bring it up and they continue to try and bring this issue to other states as well to, again, bring this to a national stage because like you heard earlier, like Finn just mentioned, if they can fight fire with fire, if the Democrats can do that, then maybe they can pick up those seats where the Texas Republicans are giving more seats to the GOP. Maybe California can give more seats to Democrats. We see that in Illinois. Illinois has a lot of seats that are basically Democrat seats, and we see that they're trying to do that in New York. Maybe it's unconstitutional there. They're still figuring that out over there. But again, we are seeing them try and reverberate this issue throughout the entire nation.
And Trevor, we don't want to ignore the other important issue in this special session, which is relief for the victims of last month's deadly flooding. What happens if this session ends without addressing that?
I mean, simply put, they'll probably call another one. That is up to Governor Greg Abbott, though. He is the one who can decide whether a special session is called or not. These special sessions, they last for a month. You can call one, you can call two. He's called multiple special sessions before. Governors have called multiple special sessions before. This is a very important issue. Democrats tried to get votes on special sessions on this issue of flood relief and flood response. They tried to get these votes to happen before the redistricting vote. That they could not make happen. Of course, Republicans wanted to get this redistricting vote in while the Democrats were still in the state. So now there's this showdown over that as well. Obviously, the Democrats have delayed this vote on redistricting, but in effect, that's also delayed the votes on flood response and flood recovery, both of which were mentioned in the press conference as well, with Democrats blaming Republicans for delaying this by using redistricting. So a lot of back and forth here between both sides, of course.
Yeah. Plenty of back and forth. CBS News reporter Trevor Sochocki, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. Now let's go back to CBS News political director Finn Gomez. And Finn, I want to take a closer look at this redistricting fight. Texas, we know, is already solidly red. So why this push to redraw the map?
That's a great question, Mugo. So why the urgency? It comes down to this. They have a short window now, Republicans do, in locking in power ahead of the midterms, but not just the midterms, but potentially for the next decade. Republicans are trying to shore up vulnerable districts and blunt Democratic gains, especially in fast-growing suburbs and communities of color, which, the goal is to make swing areas less competitive and keep red districts red, frankly, even as, the Texas population changes. And as I mentioned, Texas has seen this explosive growth in Latino, Black, and Asian populations that mostly lean blue, even though the Republicans made significant gains with Latino voters in last year's election. But the redrawing of these lines now gives Republicans a chance to get ahead of the trend and keep the upper hand politically for years to come. Also, if you recall, Mugo, with 40 electoral votes and one of the largest House delegations in the country, with what happens in Texas, it can tip the balance of power in Washington.
Oh, yeah, it sure can. CBS News political director Finn Gomez in Washington for us today. Thank you for joining us.